now we are caught in the chill of the night. We are waiting for the Saviour's day. Many have come from the valleys, many have come from the hills, many have started their journey home to be with someone on the Saviour's day. Open your eyes on Saviour's day. Don't look back or turn away. Life will be yours if you'll only stay. He is calling you on the Saviour's day. Joining the old and the young ones, joining the black and the white, meeting the need of the hungry is He. Will we ever remember Him on the Saviour's day? Open your eyes on Saviour's day. Don't look back or turn away. Life will be yours if you only stay. He is calling you on the Saviour's day. Here's to the God of the future. Here's to the God of the past. Here's to the hope for the future He brings. We will sing to Him, sing to the Lord. Here's to the God of the present. Here's to the God of the past. Here's to the hope for the future He brings. We will sing to Him on the Saviour's day. Open your eyes on Saviour's day. Don't look back or turn away. Life will be yours if you only stay. He is calling you on the Saviour's day. Saviour's day.
Welcome back to part 2 of the concert. The piece that we've just sung is Saviour's Day, which was made popular by Cliff Richard. And he's been celebrating a milestone birthday, his 80th birthday this year. So it was really good that we could sing that tonight. We're now going to speak to 2 of the key members of our choir, Jane Robertson, our accompanist, and Roger Ellis, our chairman. It's really good that you're both with us this evening. Thank you very much for your time. And we're just going to try and get a feel of how we've managed to stay together as a choir. So Roger, how have we managed to do that? And how have we kept the men engaged with each other over this last few months whilst we've not been able to meet?
Well, thank you first of all for inviting me. I think if we think back to March, I think one of the key concerns we had as a committee was exactly that point. How are we going to make sure that whenever this pandemic ended, we would be back at our rehearsal rooms with a full choir? And so by working closely with Jane, my secretary Gordon, and the committee, we worked on a plan, if you like, of bringing the choir together through Zoom with a focus of primarily to keep the singing voice in good order, to maintain good team working, and to make sure that the choir as a whole would meet again sometime in the future as still in a good form to carry forward into 2021. So that's our aim primarily. So, and I think we've achieved that very much so. And Christmas now is the focus of all that hard work.
Yeah, we've managed to keep together, and I think the choir has grown stronger, hasn't it? As we've managed to still actually see each other every Tuesday, maybe not in person, but on Zoom. So Jane, how has it been with rehearsals? How have we managed to keep together with the rehearsals, and what have we achieved as a choir in the last 9 months?
How have we managed it? With a great deal of difficulty, actually. It became apparent really from the word go that rehearsals over the internet are not easy. You can't just play the piano live and everybody join in. It just doesn't work. I tried recording the piano backing tracks and playing the recording, but it just didn't engage the men. So then I had an idea about approaching a few friends and family, some experienced singers, and asked them if they could record the individual parts of 2 or 3 of the choir's songs. They did that for us, came back. I tried playing those at the rehearsals, and all of a sudden the men became engaged. I could see them joining in with the songs at home. So that was a start. But then what I really wanted was to try and recreate the sound that they normally had at rehearsal, to hear the choir in their own living rooms. So we sent the individual parts out to the choir members. There was a bit of reluctance to start with. They were very nervous, but a good handful of them plucked up the courage and recorded their voices. I had about 20 recordings come back, that initial song. And hey presto, we then had the choir. Following that, 4 or 5 of the choir members then plucked up the courage to record the solo parts themselves. And from there, we're now self-sufficient. We can record all the individual parts. The choir can then record all the parts too, and we can put the choir together, and we now have a whole library of music that we can delve into. So there we are. That's it.
That's great. Well, thank you for that. Thank you both of you for that insight onto how we managed to keep together as Gledholt Male Voice Choir. And on behalf of the choir, I'd like to thank you both for all the work that you've put in to make sure that this has happened. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we've heard, several members of the choir have stood up and plucked up the courage to actually record the parts. So we're now going to showcase those in the first part of Candlelight Carol, and then we're going to listen to the full choir sing the whole of this piece. Ladies and gentlemen, Candlelight Carol.
How do you capture the wind on the water? How do you count all the stars in the sky? How can you measure the love of a mother? Or how can you write down a baby's first cry? Candlelight, angel light, floodlight and sparkle, shine on his cradle till breaking of dawn. Gloria, Gloria, in excelsis Deo. Angels are singing, the Christ child is born. How do you capture the wind on the water? How do the Christ child is born. Still, 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 weil's Kindlein schlafen will. Maria tut es jedes Singen, ihre Küche still, 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 weil's Kindlein schlafen will. Schlaf, 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 mein liebes Kindlein, schlaf. Die Engel zum Schönmusik singen, vor dem Kindlein jubilieren. Schlaf, 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 mein liebes Kindlein, schlaf. Joy, 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 my heart is filled with joy. The God of love has left his throne, made this humble world his own. Joy, 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 my heart is filled with joy.
Two beautiful lullabies, ladies and gentlemen. The first one being Candlelight Carol. And at the beginning of that carol, you would have seen several different pictures coming up on the screen. They were Dave Barnett, Steve Daniel, Gerald Savage, Peter Davidson and Graham Kelly, all of which have recorded all of the Christmas music for the choir to record from. So we thank you for doing that for us, and also to Jane, our accompanist, who has put hours and hours and hours of work into putting them all together, recording them, synchronising them to put this concert together. So Jane, from all the members of Gledholt Male Voice Choir, and also yourselves, we thank you most sincerely and hope that you're able to have a peaceful and joyful Christmas and a little bit less time sat at your computer. The second piece of music that we heard then was Still, 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 a German carol which was arranged by a previous accompanist of ours, at Gledholt Male Voice Choir, A.B. Bebbington. A beautiful piece which again we've all enjoyed recording and listening to again. It's one that we haven't sung for a few years. And it's one that we found a little bit challenging, especially with the German, but I think we got away with it, even if there was a little bit of a Yorkshire accent in there. So ladies and gentlemen, we're coming towards the end of our second part of tonight's concert. Time's flying by, isn't it? Who knew that time could go so quickly? And just as I promised, threatened, or did mention earlier on, it's your turn. As we stand and sing and raise the roof wherever we are, as we sing together, Hark the Herald, Angels Sing. But as we left the first part of the concert, and at the end of this part and of the third part, you will see our website details, which are now below. And there's also on that website a GoFundMe page, which gives you all the opportunity to donate to the work of Gledholt Male Voice Choir, to help us to continue to keep working in the community, both in Huddersfield and further afield. And as we found out today, the sky is the limit. We can be anywhere we want to be. Australia, Poland, wherever, with the medium of Zoom and YouTube. So ladies and gentlemen, let's get on our neighbours' nerves and sing Hark the Herald, Angels Sing.
Peace on